You're in 5 country. You're on 5 TV. And this is News 5.
Good evening from News 5. I'm Deborah Cutter.
And I'm Rick Taylor. Good evening, and welcome to Monday, News 5 Special Edition. I'm Phil Wilson.
And I'm Twyla Young.
Turn on 5 Country Close-Up on 5 TV.
Good evening, I'm Rick Roberts. For years, Americans have lived in homes of their own and thought little of it.
With George Wiley, Geraldine Donovan, Mark Matthew, and Larry Cosgrove.
Good evening. Colleen Scherer may still have a place in Governor Branstad's administration.
You're watching WOI-DT, Ames, Des Moines. And this is your news, 5 TV's Iowa News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Larry Meyer.
And I'm Sarah Maltby.
A state Democrat lawmaker says legislators may be restructuring Iowa's budget process.
Keeping you in touch.
Live from Central Iowa's award-winning news station, this is 5 TV's Iowa News Today.
Good evening, I'm Betty Cross.
And I'm George Wiley, and we're live on the road today at Southridge Mall.
5 TV, keeping you in touch.
Live from Central Iowa's award-winning news station, this is 5 TV's Iowa News Tonight.
Good evening, I'm Betty Cross.
And I'm Dennis Doda. A plan to build a new Des Moines Mall is coming under federal scrutiny.
Live from Central Iowa's award-winning news station, this is 5 TV's Iowa News Tonight. With Galen Savanas and Lauren Collier. Diane Daniels in the Metro. Meteorologist Pam Dale and Jeff Connor with sports.
A Marshalltown man too young to drink but old enough to drive may be responsible for a girl's death.
Live from the Metro and the Heartland, you're watching 5 TV's Iowa News Tonight.
2 Iowa State troopers were killed tonight near Atlantic in western Iowa.
You're watching Channel 5, and now live, the news team that's keeping you in touch. Galen Savanas and Gail Nye, meteorologist Jay Cardozi, and Jeff Connor. This is Channel 5 News 10 o'clock report.
4 long years of pain and anger haven't stopped a Des Moines woman. She wants to know how her son died.
You're watching the Channel 5 News 10 o'clock report.
It is the worst flooding we've seen in decades. Governor Branstad declaring 7 Iowa counties disaster areas, 4 of them in our viewing area. Residents in Polk, Warren, Dallas, and Jasper counties forced from their homes as floodwaters continue to rise. This is what it looked like this afternoon over Polk County in Clive and West Des Moines.
This is a Channel 5 News special report.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Galen Savanas along with Betty Cross. We're on South Duff Avenue reporting live in Ames, where man and nature have been slugging it out all night and through most of the morning.
And now live, this is the Channel 5 News 10 o'clock report with Betty Cross and Dennis Doda. Don Novak's 5cast from your 24-hour weather source, and Mark Matthew with sports.
Good evening. Another spring storm is behind us, and now it's time to look at the damage left in its wake.
You're watching Channel 5. And now, Central Iowa's award-winning news team, Rod Fowler, Gail Nye, Chief Meteorologist Pam Dale, and Keith Murphy's Look at Sports. This is the Channel 5 News 10 o'clock report.
Wrapped in plastic, police removed the gun that fired the fatal shot that killed a Des Moines teen this afternoon.
Live from Des Moines, this is the Channel 5 News at 10 with Rod Fowler, Andrea Sawyer, weather with meteorologist Mark Baden, and Keith Murphy with sports.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for staying up with us tonight. I'm Rod Fowler.
And I'm Andrea Sawyer. We just finished watching the biggest event of the year in Hollywood.
It's 5:30 in Central Iowa. Time for Iowa News Tonight from Des Moines. This is Channel 5's Nightwatch.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight for a special edition of Channel 5's Nightwatch.
This is News 5 at 6.
The casino goes dark at Prairie Meadows today. So does the Des Moines Police Department as power outages become a problem in central Iowa. Good evening, I'm Mike Keene.
And I'm Sonia Height-Susan.
Live from WOI-TV 5 studios, you're watching News 5 with Mike Keene, Sonia Height-Susan, Chief Meteorologist Brad Edwards, and sports with John Walters. News 5, real people, real news.
Yeah, I was waiting for summertime. I wanted to go to Cubs game.
Surprise.
Live from the WOI-TV 5 studios in Des Moines, you're watching News 5 at 10 with Mike Keene, Sonia Height-Susan, Chief Meteorologist Brad Edwards, and sports with John Walters. Serving Des Moines and all of central Iowa, this is News 5 at 11:30 with Scott Smith and meteorologist Matinka Slater. Coming to you live from our Metro studios, this is News 5.
We are in the final stretch of the campaign season. We're now just 1 week away from Election Day.
Serving Des Moines and all of central Iowa, you're watching News 5 at 6 with Stephanie Heft, meteorologist Matinka Slater, and sports with Matt Kelly. Live with the latest from our Metro studios, this is News 5. Live from WOI-TV Des Moines, Central Iowa's award-winning news team, Steve Smith, meteorologist Brian Karstens, and sports with David Bingham. This is News 5 at 5.
On the last day before the Iowa caucuses, the presidential hopefuls are trying to make every hour count. It's their last full day of campaigning, and the candidates are scouring Iowa for support. That is our top story tonight. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. I'm Steve Smith.
Live from WOI-TV Des Moines, this is News 5 at 10.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
A preliminary...
You're watching News 5 at 10. With Scott Smith and Sonia Height-Susan. Now live from Des Moines, this is Channel 5 Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Lisa Carpinelli.
And I'm Chris Flanagan. American soldiers have entered the insurgent.
You're watching Channel 5 Eyewitness News at 5 with Chris Flanagan, Lisa Carpinelli, Chief Meteorologist Brad Edwards, and Sports Director John Walters. This is Channel 5 Eyewitness News at 5. Now live from Des Moines, this is Channel 5 Eyewitness News at 10.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight. I'm Amanda Krenz.
Now live from WOI-TV in West Des Moines, this is Channel 5 Eyewitness News at 10.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Lisa Carpinelli. Trying to find middle ground in the very controversial illegal immigration debate.
Live from ABC 5 in West Des Moines, this is ABC 5 News at 10.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Lisa Carpinelli. Chris Flanagan is off tonight.
You're watching ABC 5 News at 10 with Chris Flanagan, Lisa Carpinelli, Chief Meteorologist Brad Edwards, and Sports Director John Walters. This is ABC 5 News at 10. Clear, concise, complete.
Now, live from WOI-DT in West Des Moines, this is ABC 5 News this morning at 6 in high definition.
Coming up right after.
Live from WOI-DT in West Des Moines, this is ABC 5 News at 6 in high definition.
And with all of these accidents...
You're watching Good Morning Iowa in HD. We are Iowa's most accurate weather team. Good Morning Iowa starts now with breaking news.
And Good Morning Iowa, thanks for joining us here. I'm Elias Johnson.
And I'm Sabrina Ahmed. We turn now to a live news conference of some breaking news from overnight. 2 officers here in the metro were shot.
You're watching Local 5 News at 5 in HD with Jack Miller, Stephanie Engelson. We are Iowa's most accurate forecast with Chief Meteorologist Brad Edwards. This is Local 5 News at 5. We are Iowa. You're watching Local 5 News at 5:30 in HD. We are Iowa's most accurate weather team, and we start with your forecast first.
Raging floodwaters inundated the metro overnight as a powerful storm system moved across the state, dumping over 8 inches of rain in some places.
Local 5 News at 5:30 in HD starts now. We are Iowa.
It's not the way we want to make history. Deadly, dangerous flash floods take over Ankeny, Des Moines, Clive, Pleasant Hill, Urbandale.
You're watching Local 5 News at 5:30 in HD. We are Iowa.
Welcome back. This is your home for the flash floods of 2018.
You're watching Local 5 News at 6 in HD. We are Iowa's most accurate weather team, and we start with your forecast first.
Well, hi, everyone. Been a kind of a dreary day out there, but...
Local 5 News at 6 in HD starts now. We are Iowa.
Families, entire soccer teams, people of all walks of life are showering their support on the grieving Urbandale Police Department. They bring gifts of flowers and food to add to this growing memorial. It's a touching reminder of today's tremendous loss and the incredible way Iowans pull together in times of tragedy.
Yes, a very dark day here in the metro.
You're watching Local 5 News at 6 in HD with Jack Miller, Stephanie Engelson. We are Iowa's most accurate forecast with Chief Meteorologist Brad Edwards. And Local 5 Sports with Sports Director John Schaefer. This is Local 5 News at 6. We are Iowa.
Welcome back. A hard day in the metro, and oftentimes in dark moments like these, there is great support in numbers.
Yeah. You're watching the CW Iowa News at 9 p.m. in HD with Jack Miller. Iowa's most accurate weather forecast before you go to bed with Chief Meteorologist Brad Edwards and Sports Director John Schaefer with the latest in Central Iowa sports.
All right, it's a little...
You're watching Local 5 News at 10 in HD. We are Iowa's most accurate weather team, and we start with your forecast first.
Good evening and welcome, everybody. Well, it is quiet right now across the state of Iowa.
He left doing what he loved doing, and he always would say if he had a way to go, it would be on the field, and I feel like God honored his request.
The sister of a fallen football player shares memories about the young man known as the tackle machine, why she says losing her brother feels a lot like losing a son. Plus, another deadly crash on Iowa's roads, why the Iowa State Patrol says the crash could have been prevented. And a deadly coup attempt comes to an end. Now a defiant Turkish president is calling on the United States.
Local 5 News at 10 in HD starts now. We are Iowa.
I'm Ashley Crosco. Thanks for tuning in to Local 5 News. One person is dead and another injured.
You're watching Local 5 News at 10 in HD with Jack Miller, Stephanie Engelson. We are Iowa's most accurate forecast with Chief Meteorologist Brad Edwards and Local 5 Sports with Sports Director John Schaefer. This is Local 5 News at 10. We are Iowa.
Welcome back. Well, what a nice day. The sun was shining. It really wasn't bad out there today.
You know, and everybody's scared of Friday the 13th.
I know.
Nothing to worry about. Friday the
Pleasant.
14th, or Saturday the 14th, I
There
should
you
say.
go.
Good morning, Iowa. All your weather, traffic, and local news you need to know starts right now.
Thanks for joining us. A very happy Tuesday to you all. My goodness, yesterday had quite the rain event with it.
This is Local 5 News Midday. We are Iowa.
Good morning and thanks for joining us for Local 5 News Midday. I'm Jackie Schmelin. Happening today in your State House Matters.
This is Local 5 News Midday. We are Iowa.
Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us for your midday program. Got a lot to get to, in fact.
Local 5 News at 5. We are Iowa.
Today was a record-breaking weather day in Des Moines. The lowest low for today and the lowest high for today since the 90s.
This is Local 5 News at 5. We are Iowa.
Employers may no longer discriminate on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity.
This is Local 5 News at 5:30. We are Iowa.
Demonstrations and marches continue across the U.S. and right here in Des Moines.
This is Local 5 News at 6. We are Iowa.
Thank you for tuning in tonight. Sunday marked the end of the 2020 legislative session, and lawmakers worked to the very last second. We break down the legislation that made it this session.
You are watching Local 5 News at 9 on CW Iowa 23. We are Iowa's most accurate weather team, and we start with your forecast first. This is Local 5 News at 9 on CW Iowa 23. We are Iowa.
Welcome to Local 5 News on CW Iowa 23. I'm Jack Miller. Thanks for joining us tonight.
You're watching Local 5 News at 10. We are Iowa's most accurate weather team, and we start with your forecast first. This is Local 5 News at 10. We are Iowa.
Welcome to Local 5 News, home of WeAreIowa.com. I'm Stephanie Engelson.
And I'm Jack Miller. Thanks for joining us.
This is Local 5 News at 10. We are Iowa.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Big news out of Washington. Word tonight, President Trump will nominate federal judge Amy Coney Barrett to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court.
This is Good Morning Iowa.
Midweek. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. We are ready to get you up and at 'em, out the door.
You're watching Local 5 News.
Welcome to Local 5 News Midday on this Wednesday. It's great to be with you.
You're watching Local 5 News.
More Iowans in the hospital tonight than ever in the pandemic. For the 7th time this month, we are hitting a hospitalization record.
You're watching Local 5 News.
Well, there it is. Iowa saw its first snow of the season overnight and early this morning.
You're watching Local 5 News.
Another October snowfall. Central Iowa seeing more than half a foot of snow in some spots, others nearly a foot. It comes just a day after the first snowfall of the season. We are Iowa's most accurate forecast. Chief Meteorologist Brad Edwards.
You're watching Local 5 News.
Well, there it is. Iowa saw its very first snow of the season overnight and early this morning. Quite a surprise for a lot of us here to wake up and see the white snow everywhere.
The best things in life